I'm that always writing Jew, that footnote citing Jew, that academic Jew, scholar Jew, that thinking Jew. And let me tell you something, Jew. Worker Jew, white collar Jew, that tend the flock and herder Jew, that calloused foot and hand Jew, that roam the barren sands Jew, that tills and works the land Jew, that old Jew, new Jew, that makes the desert grow Jew, that always trying to make things just a little better Jew. At the same time, don't mind if I'm a self-centered Jew. I'm that persistent, sweated out Jew, that I made it big because I earned it Jew, that give me what I want because I know that I deserve it Jew. That arrogant Jew, that humble Jew, that whatever Jew I'm in the mood to be Jew, that proud of being Jewish Jew, that Jesus Jew, Judas Jew, that don't know why I'm still being persecuted Jew, scapegoat Jew, that whenever we're murdered, you probably think we had it coming Jew, but still not afraid to wear my Star of David, Am Yisrael Chai Jew. I'm that feeling the world has gone mad and damn it, I want to get off Jew. That way too much horror in the news everywhere I turn Jew. That fed up with savage and barbaric Hamas or Hezbollah murdering, ISIS beheading Christians, knife-wielding, suicide-bombing lunatics Jew. That disgusted by Boko Haram, Boston Marathon, Tree of Life, Lynn Cafe, Pakistani school children killers, and I've had enough of radical Islam to last me a lifetime Jew. That they're killing so many of their own, but somehow we're blamed for that too, Jew? Turn it off! That wake up world, Jew. And that you don't want to hear this, but I don't give a damn what you think, Jew. That you're just going to have to deal with it, Jew. That bullied in high school because I was rocking a yarmulke, Jew. That standing up to you, Jew. That took to the hand, Jew. Turn it and off! That Iron Dome cheering fan club. Where were you when the missiles were raining down all over Israel, Jew? That just shalom motherfucking you off my social media pages, Jew. That's sick of your double standards, Jew. That UN today means useless nations to me, Jew. That will fight it out if you have a problem with me, Jew. And yet, I'm that desperately wanting to live side by side in peace with you, Jew. That get to know me, and you'll see we're not so bad like they make us out to be, Jew. Bingo. I'm that who knew, Jew. I'm that needing to explain, Jew. That let's figure it out together, Jew. That questioning Jew. That never ever just one answer, Jew. That contemplative Jew, that wild-haired genius Jew, that psychoanalytical and let me tell you something about you and your mother Jew, that never claimed to be perfect Jew. Turn it off! And that shelf sagging with Nobel Prizes Jew, that brilliant scientist Jew, that astronaut Jew, that inventor or something that's part of your everyday life, but you don't even know it, Jew.
Turn it off. Turn it off. Turn it off! Turn it off, please.
He walked out in the gray light and stood, and he saw for a brief moment the absolute truth of the world. The cold, relentless circling of the intestate earth. Darkness implacable. The blind dogs of the sun in their running. The crushing black vacuum of the universe. And somewhere 200 animals trembling like ground foxes in their cover. Borrowed time and borrowed world and borrowed eyes with which to sorrow it.
And lo, for the earth was empty of form, and void, and darkness was all over the face of the deep, and we said, look at that fucker dance.
Welcome to Death of the Universe, a podcast that's constantly worried about atheist teachers reading Bible to students, wants to replace them with religious scholars. It is 11:54 a.m. KST, Saturday, November 30th, year of our Lord 2024. These are the digitized clicks and grunts of Joshua, name changed, Mutachio here, and over there is Tim Dune Akiyama Buckner. How's it going, Tim?
Going good. Yeah, I was not prepared for my normal opening joke right now. So unfortunately, we're gonna have to just take a lap on that on the the only podcast that celebrates Black Friday for the whole damn month. How you doing tonight, Josh?
Doing good. Yeah, you know, you get a pass on doing the ritualized opening for the holidays.
Yeah.
Speaking of getting a pass on the holidays.
Oh, did someone say it? Did someone say the word? The gamer word?
I was going to say
Oh.
Speaking of the gamer word, one Virgil Texas, Virgil Justin Texas.
I think his middle name is Alexis after his mom. He's Virgil Alexis Texas.
Virgil Alexis Texas. That has a better ring to it anyway as well. You're right. He's been found, folks. He's been found after nigh all these years in the
Saddam Hussein bunker.
In what is also just kind of I would say, a stupid article in
That's
general.
a good way to describe it. Yeah.
Fast Company, a website I've been noticing exists more and more lately.
More than
days,
I would
for
like
reason.
to say.
Yeah, I don't know what its deal is, but I literally don't know what their focus is or anything. But they publish an article.
The name is fucking stupid too. Like, who names their? I don't even know what article-atorium. Fast Company. I don't know what that means. Anyways.
Yeah, I don't like anything about it. I don't like the font. I don't like the name.
Yeah.
But you know, if they wanna interview these podcasters before you,
Yeah.
please.
Sure.
please clap.
Or if they want to give us jobs, we could really turn this thing around. We could fix this site up. We could have it humming.
Yeah, every article will feature Virgil Alexis Texas.
Yeah. Here's one of their premium articles that I just see on their main page right now. Could AI be used to replace striking workers? I mean, in the same sense that it could be used to replace any workers, right? Like, couldn't replace me, couldn't replace my work, but, you know, maybe if what your job is writing bullshit articles for Fast Company, maybe it could replace you.
It's funny because the way the immediate mental impression that left in my brain was instead of the obvious, which is like, yes, it is just means replacing workers, period. I was picturing like somehow AI bots like
on the picket line,
waving around, waving
Yes.
signs on the picket line for the lazy union member.
You want to go on strike? Well, actually, we're gonna get AI to go on strike. So then you're not gonna be able to strike. So you're gonna have to get back to work. And it's like, fuck, he's right. There can only be so many strikers.
Once the replicants get lifelike enough, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll be a boon for organized labor.
Yeah, why not?
That would be such a funny, like, turning things on their head, I guess. Like, you're going to try to replace me with AI? I'm going to replace myself on the picket line with AI.
Yeah.
To try to get my job back from AI.
And they can help. They can have the AI write snappy, like, jingles for them to chant. They can write the slogans for the signs, you know.
I mean, given how like generally inadequate and fucked up AI stuff tends to be these days, it would just turn into just like some psychotic, deranged chants. Of course, they would just sort of like start ending up like, you know, taking in like the counter protest slogans and like sort of I don't know, repackaging them in glitched out ways. But this article here, can Democrats win back podcasting? You know, these are the pressing questions people on the center left, the radical centrists of the Democratic Party have been asking.
Yeah, that's Phil Hartman. That's the Phil Hartman, wing of politics, the radical centrists.
Wait, what? Phil Hartman?
Is it Phil? No, it's Tom Hartman, right? Tom Hartman's the radio guy. That was what I was going to say first. But then I was like, no, that's not right. That's the actor guy. That's how my brain works. Normal people. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
I was scanning my brain for every like Lionel Hutz and Troy McClure like Simpsons quote to see like what's he getting at here? What am I missing?
Right.
I'm actor Troy McClure. You might remember me from such TV series as Buck Henderson, Union Buster, and Troy and Company's Summertime Smile Factory.
No, and see, that's the other. I was just gonna say that's the problem with my brain is like, in my brain, Tom Hartman is the more like readily available name than Phil Hartman, and the average person it's probably going to be the other way around. So I instantly think Tom Hartman, and then I go, no, that's not right. That's the celebrity one. That's the famous one that everyone knows from The Simpsons. That's not the the radio guy. And then I'm like, oh no, wait. And then when you say Lionel Hutz, I'm thinking Lionel, also the radio personality guy that was on Air America with Tom Hartman. I'm like, oh yeah, Lionel. The talk radio, the politics. I think he turned into like a right-wing grifter guy after that. He did left-wing stuff, and then now, I pulled up a picture of him. His real name, it's funny because he just goes by Lionel. His real name is Michael William LeBron. And current projects is establishing himself as a right-wing pundit for Alex Jones' InfoWars network. So yes, like I said, he did go from Air America to InfoWars. That is the pipeline that we all know and love, folks.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, radical centrist.
Next up, Mark Maron does the pivot.
Yeah, there was another bit on that, but I'll put a pin in it because we might talk about stuff later that has to do with it. But about my weird brain.
I mean, that did just make me think of the Cenk Uygur stuff. Is that what you were thinking of?
No,
no.
It was something that happened in real life.
Well, okay.
Yeah, it was something that happened to me in real life.
Well, anyway, I'm halfway through the title here.
Perfect.
And I'm not going to read the whole article. I'm just trying to give some context to how Virgil, Alexis, Texas was found in the wilds of the outside the podcast world. Can Democrats win back podcasting? We asked 6 popular show hosts to weigh in, and they talked to a couple of idiots and a couple of cool people. First up, an idiot, David Pakman. I'm not gonna, he just did his Sackman thing. Yeah, Sam Adler-Bell
hinged his head and went wah 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 wah. Did this Pac-Man thing, yeah.
I've never listened to this podcast. I don't know really much about it. All I know is that this comes up as a if you like Heat Death of the Universe, you might like this podcast. Oh. Know Your Enemy.
Yeah.
I think they just they focus on just the conservative world from a leftist perspective, as it says here. Brendan James, based co-host of Blowback, so that was cool. He
Former
probably had the
producer of Chapo Trap House. That's how I know him.
Also true.
I don't care for Blowback.
Really?
The podcast or in real life? It's like I want to do something. It's it's the reaping and sowing meme. I'm not into it. I just want to fucking sow. Why do I got to reap this shit? Why do I have to have any Blowback come back? No, true. I didn't like the last season that much, but
I haven't listened to it yet.
I have liked it before. Yeah.
Never heard of this person. Molly Jong Fast, host of Fast Politics.
I was going to say, when you said I've never heard of this person, my initial gut was going to say, let me guess, it's a woman. And then I was going to be like, and it's a woman of color. And then, of course it is. I would have nailed you, Josh. I should have hit it.
Thrice weekly topical podcast with guests like the Lincoln Project's Rick Wilson and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, rather. Anyway, they save the best for last, and also the person with the shortest answer of all by far.
Yeah.
Virgil, Texas, former
and also the shortest
Bad Faith.
He also has the shortest penis. Very small. Not a well-endowed man. Anyways.
Former co-host of Bad Faith. It's funny that they don't throw in the fact, like, the thing he was most famous for and was doing for a much longer period of time, which was Chapo.
Oh, I thought you were going to say hosting. I thought you were going to say hosting comedy shows with Sam Hyde. That's the thing he's most well known for.
Yeah, everyone knows that. And yeah, he just said, there's absolutely no one on the anti-capitalist left who is concerned about the prospect of the Democratic Party winning the votes of podcast listeners. The notion is hilarious, though. Yeah, these people clearly do not do their research because they had to, it says, update, this story originally called Virgil, Texas, a co-host of the Bad Faith podcast. He's, in fact, a former co-host. Anyway, like, this was kind of floating around various, little echo chamber places you can imagine. And just thought it was a Thanksgiving miracle. So
it really was. It was nice. Yeah, I put it on the docket last week. We just didn't get around to it. Then I started seeing other places start talking about it, so I regretted we could have gotten to it first, as if it matters. But the funny thing was, I watched it get talked about on the Vanguard that we've kind of mentioned here and there on here. Not a fan of that show. Don't choose to watch it, but just happen to have it come across YouTube kind of regularly now at this point, and I kind of hate it.
Yeah, it
and
sucks.
They said they got some background on it, and they said that basically what the author of the article said was that they had reached out for comment from someone else, and that other person thought that it would be very funny if Virgil, Texas responded instead of them. And that was how they got the response from Virgil, Texas, because they were just like, that person was like, oh, no thank you, but actually my friend is going to respond instead. And like they forwarded the email to Virgil, and Virgil sent this response or whatever.
I wonder who that was. I'm going to guess Matt Chrisman.
So the Vanguard, that was their thing. It must have been someone from Chapo. I think Matt makes the most sense, right? Obviously.
It makes sense in this because this website seems to not know shit about shit and doesn't like research anything.
They don't know dick about fuck.
If they couldn't even be bothered to figure out that Virgil, Texas hasn't been on Bad Faith podcast for 4 years or whatever, they probably like called up Matt Chrisman. Were like, oh. Right. You had a stroke or whatever, like, I don't know.
Shit.
For whatever reason, he wouldn't want to, like, weigh in.
He answered the phone. Like, that's the first part. They called him up. They got him on the blower. He answers the phone, and he just goes, oh, because he can't move his mouth, you know what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? He's got some kind of palsy, because his brain's no good. And they're like, oh, we just wanted to ask you about podcasters affecting the whatever, and he's like, oh no, my brain no do good right now. Maybe talk to my good friend Virgil, Texas. No, but yeah, like I see the Matt angle of it, and I think that's probably what makes the most sense. But then also, shit could be completely off the wall because we really don't know like the picadillos and the predilections of these freaks behind the scenes. You know what I mean? You assume that because what you see presented to you is it, but like he probably has tons of friends because like look at the level of like podcasters that they did communicate with for this.
Yeah,
and you kind of go like, this could be like anybody really. Like you kind of run the gambit of like the kind of people that they contacted. So either way, it is very funny to be like, oh no, I'm sorry, I don't have a comment, but you know who would is my good friend and totally not canceled podcaster, Virgil, Texas.
It also seems very much like almost too perfectly seems like a Nick Mullen move more than anybody. But them calling up, I did it again. Them contacting him also doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But
okay, but that does open up Adam.
Yeah. Also true.
Because the Adam Friedland show has had like fucking, well, what's not Giuliani? Who was it? The fucking, the mayor's brother or whatever, Cuomo. They had Chris Cuomo on.
Oh, right.
They've had big time political heavy hitters. They market the show as a center left, talk show or whatever. I could see them reaching out to them. And the thing that is, you said Nick, is like the thing about Nick and Virgil have like subtle beef even publicly because of Nick giving away Virgil's real name on the podcast.
Right.
Which like kicked off a whole thing. But I could definitely see Adam, they reach out to Adam, and Adam would definitely be someone who would think it was very funny for Virgil to respond instead of him. So yeah, I wouldn't be shocked that it was actually Adam Friedland that did this.
Yeah. And then on the other hand, it could be anybody. I don't know. It could be a huge number of people. So anyway, that was Virgil, Texas reappearing, and kind of who cares? But also it was notable because only in this because he's been in hiding for so many years or whatever now.
And if everyone is really good and you don't do anything bad for the next 4 years, he'll come back again and give an innocuous statement for an article on the post-election, because that's the magic of the Virgil clause. I mean, the thing is that his statement is correct, but like also, I don't know. You can't should I why am I even going to try to parse like his tone or how he means it? But like, it's just like, he's absolutely correct, but then also like, it's wrong. Like the people should care, because that is like, I was hearing other people like trying to break it down, and they're just like, yeah, the Rogan shit didn't really, you can't even say that the Rogan stuff really helped Trump win, and it couldn't have made a difference if Kamala had just done it or whatever. And it's like, I think it did. I think it made a big difference. Because that's the shit that actually, like, that was the area that actually Trump won bigger on, was like young males that were like the Rogan demographic. And that's like kind of what won him the election, And I can definitely see the argument that it's like, Kamala wouldn't have won them over by being on Rogan, but I definitely agree, or I do think that there is something to like that the left, the Democrats, I shouldn't even call them fucking left, the center right, should be fucking trying to court those people if they do want to win elections, right?
Well, I mean, that was their whole failed strategy, though, too. Like, they have Dick Cheney as their fucking like prime, I
mean, Dick Cheney doesn't speak to the people who are into fucking Andrew Tate and Jordan Peterson. That's my point. Dick Cheney doesn't speak to podcast listening bros.
Yeah, but like, yeah, I guess so. I just don't think that. I don't think leaning rightward in any way really helps at all. I'm not saying leaning right. I'm saying speaking to people who listen to podcasts, because that's what the article was about. Like, you know what I'm saying? And like, that's saying that leans right is just like, it's buying into that narrative, like that dumbass post that was like, men's hobbies include like working out, guns, fitness, kratom. All of these things are right coded. And it's like, no, they're not. That's just dude stuff. Like, if you're creating a box where everything that dudes are into is right coded, you're just creating a situation where you're forcing all men to vote for the fucking Republicans. Right? Because you can be into all that stuff and have left politics. That's not like, those are not right. Those are not intrinsically, because this shit is not political. Liking guns and beer is not a political thing. But when you turn it into one because you don't actually do anything real, and you turn it into like culture war is the only thing that exists, then yeah, of course, like you can make it that way, and all you're really doing is alienating people who like those things more than they like voting. I like guns more than I like voting. You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm not gonna like give up my like for guns to like be on the right side politically if you keep pushing me away. Is kind of more the point. I'm not saying go to the right. I'm saying fucking be Big Tent and accept that like
normal day-to-day shit that people like is not like right or left. It's just things that people like.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I guess I'm just saying that Rogan had already endorsed Trump by the time that she would have gone on the show. And Rogan has, in the last 4 years at the very least, ever since endorsing Bernie Sanders, pretty much embraced, like, you know, a lot of right-wing coded shit. I'm not saying that the other stuff, like whatever, lifting weights and shit is that. But anyway, like, I mean, she was bound to lose no matter what. Right. Which is another article on this long list of articles that we're definitely not going to get to today. I mean, I guess I might as well just mention what I'm talking about. There was, like, as the, I think it was the Economic Times. I don't know. Let me see here. Well, it wasn't just them. It was a million other publications pointed out somewhat recently. But here they said, big revelation by Kamala Harris's advisors say internal polling never showed the VP was ahead of Donald Trump. So it's just people coming out after the fact and being like, we always knew she was going to lose. And we still spent $1.5 billion on who knows what. Seems like in the grand American tradition of scams and flams to me.
Well, that's, yeah, again, what it comes down to. And especially when you're so fucking just blatant about it. It's like covering it up, and then when it's time, like just being like, yeah, you got us. She was never going to win, and we just wasted a bunch of money. Like, you're playing right into the hands of the conspiracy theory. What do they fucking say? Like, you know, they tell you they don't fucking believe any of this stuff. They're full of shit. The politicians are just speaking. It's all about the money, blah, blah, blah. And then when you just make it that obvious and fucking just say it out loud, you're just, again, now all you've done is like re-entrench the idea that, like, oh, you know, isn't that the same thing that fucking Joe Rogan has been saying this whole time? And then they just said it too. They just said that he's been right. They just proven him right. Well, of course, I need to listen to everything he has to say about everything, because like the most basic fucking Del Gribble ass part of his, like, fucking his personality came true. It's just like, Jesus Christ, you guys are so fucking dumb. But what are they going to do? What were they going to do? Just be like, we're fucked. We're not going to win. We're not going to even try. Like, I don't know. Maybe that would have worked. You know, maybe if they had just been like, yeah, nobody likes her. She's going to lose. So whatever. Fuck it. You know, we'll do it. We'll get her better luck next time kind of situation.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just the whole, like, post-election, everybody throwing each other under the bus, everybody trying to spin the loss into their own personal gain. It's kind of a tale as old as time, I would say. Yeah.
You know, this is just like a real quick anecdote. You know what fucking got me this past week that I was like fucking insane? It was just to lay that shit just completely threadbare and just show the artifice behind the piece. Like, and this is not even, I mean, it is, but it isn't. I was going to say, it's not even like directly the political fucking machine, but it kind of is. Just like historically and the connections and stuff. The Red Scare retards were on the Megyn Kelly show. And so I listened to that to just see how bad it was. And it was like terrible, obviously. But before the fucking thing even started, before the show even started, this is what got me. The podcast that I downloaded, the Megyn Kelly Show podcast that I downloaded, you know what it opened up with? An ad for Crooked Media. Pod Save America branded podcasters was the first fucking thing I heard on the Megyn Kelly podcast show. Was
That's
ads
perfect.
And it's just like, yeah, it doesn't, this shit is it's all fucking sewed up, folks. Like, if you can't fucking buy into any of it, it's all just a media fucking, it's all just a fucking game. There's nothing real to it. They don't have it. If you had any convictions, either side of that, if you had any convictions, moral convictions, either side of it, you would be like, no, we can't give money to this evil bitch by advertising our show on her podcast. Because even if you say, oh, maybe we can peel off some of her listeners, you're still directly benefiting her. And then if you're her, it's like, no, I'm not going to take money from them. they're the tip of the spear for the evil fucking left-wing fucking bathroom goblins or whatever. Like, it's just like, no, it's all just a fucking game, dude. It's the Washington Generals and the fucking, the Harlem Globetrotters. You know what I mean? It's like, it's all fucking kayfabe. It's insane.
Yeah. Kayfabe is the word that we always end up coming back to about all of this shit. With good reason, of course. But even though, like, I know that and I'm fucking world weary and cynical, I'm still slightly surprised for a split second to hear the Crooked Media advertises on Megyn Kelly's show.
When it came on, I was just like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Yeah.
I would love to see them, like, be forced to answer to that. And, like, I'm sure they would just come up with some mealy-mouthed fucking...
Oh, yeah.
Sort of PR department lib answer of just like, well, our nation is too divided. I'm like, this leads into the next thing I want to talk about here, but like,
if we can peel off even a dozen of her listeners and get them to, be exposed to the idea, to the fact that we're not fire-breathing dragons, and maybe we have some good ideas on this side too. And, yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it would be.
I feel like there's a common thread amongst, like, just grifters of all shapes and sizes about this idea of, like, our nation is too divided, and it's like on both equally, both on the right and left. You hear it just like, it's just kind of expressed in slightly different terms, maybe, but like, the fucking alarm bells go off in my head every time I see language like that. I can't fucking stand it because it's so disingenuous, but B, it's like, no, maybe the divisions are there for a good reason, and maybe people just need to be on the fucking right side.
Right.
And
well, yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's just like such an obvious cop out for so much evil shit. Like, right now, I mean, I'm looking at the picture of fucking Biden and Trump fucking glad handing and fucking smiling at each other in the White House recently. And like, again, like, kayfabe, but it's that whole thing. But anyway, there were two articles in Newsweek, which Sorry. I just wanted to really quickly call out, like, what you talked about, that we're too divided. That was like the trope. That still kind of is the trope on like the wrestling Twitter verse, is like they just say tribalism because all of the fucking idiots on there, because they're all fucking ditto head, like fucking morons. Like all they can ever do is just repeat the same term over and over again. So they go chills or it's not that serious, and then I'm just sick of all this tribalism, and it's just like, again, I'm just like, I don't fucking care. Like, that is such a fucking stupid thing to care about. To be like, people pick a side and they pick the side and then they support that side. I mean, I'm sorry, what the fuck do you want them to do? Like, how do you think they came up with the idea of picking the side? They weren't just born with it. It's not like fucking being like a white pride person or whatever. It's like you weren't just like fucking stuck into it and then you're like, this is my thing and now I'm going to just thoughtlessly defend it forever. It's like, no, like they pick the side that they're on and they defend it and they like it, and because they agree with it intellectually, like, or they appreciate it in some way. It's not like just like, it's just empty-headed tribalism. They just happen to be stuck here. It's not like patriotism where it's just like, I happen to be born in America, so I wave the American flag. It's like, no, like, especially when you really care about politics, it's like, I got into this because I actually believe in this shit, and the reason why I defend it and fight for it is because I think it fucking matters. I'm not just doing like empty fucking, we're so divided bullshit. And if you're willing to like fucking, compromise with the other side when it's like pure evil, that just shows that like you're weak spirit and you actually don't care that much about it. Sorry. Right. No, that's right. Back to Newsweek, the great expression of, I don't know, America's stupid but very wide people that consider themselves in the center of it all or whatever.
Right.
I don't know. That's the best way I could describe Newsweek, which for whatever reason I've been getting push notifications from for like months now, and I just haven't bothered to turn them off because as annoying as it is to have to make them go away from my phone more often than not, there's sometimes some gems that I think illuminate the the American psyche. But anyway, they had two separate articles that were basically the same thing, but swapping out Joe Biden with Kamala for one or the other. Donald Trump and Joe Biden's very different Thanksgiving Day messages.
Oh, good. I like where this is
There
going.
was also a whole article about Elon Musk spending Thanksgiving with Trump, and then they literally went into like the exact menus that the Trumps ate for Thanksgiving, like over the last
Jesus
8
Christ.
years.
Why did anyone care about that?
I can't imagine, but it's a real rag this Newsweek. But anyway, the whole point of bringing this up is like I just don't feel like their messages are very different when you really think about it for half a second. It's like on the surface level, sure. Like you look at what Biden's little press release here, and it's a bunch of platitudes about this. It's like a lot of like, this nation is too divided. We come together on Thanksgiving to all agree that America is the greatest country in the world for all time. And it's like, okay, maybe that's not internally divisive language, but that's just like, fuck everybody in the rest of the world type language. I get like more prickly every time I see the phrase America's the greatest country on earth. And like, I understand like it's such a cliche at this point that like a lot of the times it just kind of like, whatever, just like floats right by me as like, oh, that stupid cliche. But like the more I think about it, the more like of a fucking hideous, disgusting thing it is to say. I guess maybe especially in times of certain pointed genocide times, we'll say.
Sure.
But so I don't see how saying even just zeroing in on Biden saying we're the greatest country, America's the greatest country on earth, and there's a lot to be grateful for. How is that any less like jingoistic and crazy than what they compared to Trump saying? And Trump said something like, they don't even have the exact quote here, but he like said like, "Happy Thanksgiving, even to you radical left lunatics," and then he just goes off on his regular like Trump rant about like, we're gonna fix the country from what you radical left lunatics did to it, blah 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 blah, Trump, regular Trump shit.
Yeah.
But and then the one about Kamala was basically exactly the same. Like she, it's just her and Biden's statements were probably written by the same person on the same day, and they probably like just used ChatGPT to like alter it slightly so it's not exactly the same. But
well, yeah, because all those speechwriters were on strike, so they got replaced by ChatGPT.
So that was Thanksgiving. Yeah, like I said, Elon Musk is still hanging out with Trump. He's still, sucking dick and grabbing ass with Trump.
I hate to do this because I just kind of feel like I don't like to police language. You know me, Josh. I'm never someone to police language and tell you what words to use, but I feel like you shouldn't be platforming him, and you shouldn't say his actual. I feel like you should be calling him Elmo Tusk or whatever the fuck they keep posting. Everyone has to post. They won't just say his actual name. Can you please stop referring to him by the evil dictator or whatever the fuck I'm supposed to think he is, other than just like a creepy autistic guy who got lucky.
I do like to say Ellen Munsk. Is that good enough, or is it still too close?
That's perfect. That's good. Call him the uncut gem.
The boy born with a mouth full of emeralds. That's a little bit clunky, but I think it signifies who I'm talking about without actually saying his name. A couple just funny details are that in a video posted to X by Ellen Munsk, shows him sitting at a table at the Palm Beach Club alongside Trump, his wife Melania, and his youngest son Barron, while the Village People's YMCA played over the loudspeakers.
Fuck yes, it did. Hell yes. Hell yes. That is correct. Barron's kind of nice with it. Have you seen the memes, the stuff going viral with Barron the past couple days?
No, what's
I think they mentioned it on the Boomer Death Squad. There's some videos of him as a kid have like resurfaced from like the old like talk shows and shit, and just like when he had a really thick accent early on, because basically he was just like purely raised by Melania alone, and like she didn't like speak to like other people, so it's like
I've still never heard him speak.
Yeah. Well, these old videos of him as a kid, he's just got like this thick, he's got a very, like, it's interesting because, you know, she's like Slavic, but it sounds kind of like Dutch boy a little bit. It's like a mix of like Slav and Dutch, and because like he's in America, he's American, but he is like getting raised by a Slavic, but people are going crazy for Barron, and honestly, I kind of get it, man. I think we deserve it as America. We deserve the fact that Barron Trump is probably going to end up being like the Kazakh Sadarok or whatever. I don't even know what the fuck, how all that stuff, that Dune stuff works. Don't believe my Twitter name right now. I don't have any idea what Dune is. But he feels like he's going to be like, is it Baron Harkonnen? What's the big guy? Who's the top dog?
Yeah, Baron Harkonnen.
Yeah, that's what Barron Trump is going to be, that fucking guy for America.
I mean, you haven't seen the Dune movies then?
No, nothing. I have no fucking clue when it comes to Dune stuff. No idea.
They're good, but it's just it's funny if you see what Baron Harkonnen is like in those movies, and imagine that's what Baron Trump will turn into. It's pretty twisted.
Yeah,
he's just like this.
Seems like a cool guy.
Pale
right?
slug man who like dips himself into bathtubs filled with what looks like, I don't know, crude oil, and he's quite evil. But
well, I just mean like the big leader guy, the guy who's like the leader of humans or whatever.
Well, he's like the leader of the space Nazis, essentially.
Okay. Well, no.
But
I mean like the main guy. I guess the main guy becomes the leader of space Nazis, though, right? Is that the same guy?
I mean, it's confused. There's a lot of factions within the Dune.
Okay.
Universe.
The Duneverse?
The Duneverse.
The Duneverse.
Yeah. But no, I think I know who you're I think if people would compare if they're comparing him to this sort of hero figure, it would not be Harkonnen. But they do have the same first name, sort of.
Yeah.
But anyway.
That's why it wouldn't be him, because it's too on the nose.
Yeah.
Although, maybe they would maybe the writers would just do that because they're lazy at this point. They're just using AI to write the storylines for America 2024.
My favorite line in this article, though, about Musk hanging out for Thanksgiving, aside from them blaring YMCA while they eat Thanksgiving dinner, which I think they describe in this article as the song that Trump's been playing at his rallies for years while he does his signature fist pumping dance, is how they describe it.
And he's not wrong. That's a good song. It's a good song, especially for that kind of setting, too.
I mean, it gets you pumped. But my first job here in Korea, it was kind of more of like it wasn't like a real school. It was more of almost kind of like a.
Or was it an RFK type school?
Sort of a summer camp style, year-round summer camp style place where
that sounds kind of cool.
New groups of kids, like 300. New students would come in like every week. But anyway, they had, like the sort of morning assembly time in the auditorium was always begin with blasting YMCA. And I always would just like kind of sit in the back, like sort of giggling to myself, like,
yeah,
just because there's, I don't know. At least
is it illegal to be gay in Korea still? Or?
I was gonna get at something about like just let's just say LGBTQ plus rights are
not for you,
a little bit behind comparatively here, and that's maybe a generous interpretation. Just like all these people have no idea what they're fucking dancing to right now. But anyway, so it was kind of like being at a Trump rally, really. But the only other thing from this article I wanted to mention is that it says, in a speech earlier this November, Trump said of Musk's presence, "He likes this place. I can't get him out of here. He just likes this place." So to me, this plays into the impending knife in the back moment that I'm still betting on. Do you ever see the subreddit that's like I think it's called like Mark My Words? I just started noticing it recently. I think it's where people just like they post things like that they're like certain are going to happen in the future, and I've seen a few that are like there's going to be a spectacular falling out between Trump and Musk, and weekly update. I'm still on that. Some people are not. Some people are like, oh my God, he's going to be president somehow. Like people are really scared of the whole thing, and like. I guess this is a good time to throw in that Cenk Uygur tweet about talking to Elon Musk.
I'm sorry, who? I don't know who you're talking about.
Cenk Uygur.
Dank Wigger. I think you're talking about Dank Wigger, my homie who I smoke mad weed with. Yeah.
I saw someone post his name like that the other day, and like a bunch of the responses were just like, "Dank, excuse me." Like it's like I think it was people that
Dank,
I think it was like people that are too young to remember that word being in the zeitgeist in like I don't know the early 90s, I guess.
Right.
At least that's when I remember it. But what did he say?
It's a good one.
Anyway, he said, I asked at Elon Musk, Elon Musk, to put me in charge of cutting the Pentagon. And he said, what are your suggestions? I run the largest left-wing network online, and a Democratic leader has never asked me that question. The idea that they would take advice from a populist is disdainful to them. And he goes on to reply to his own tweet. Now, which side seems more open and inclusive? Which side seems more welcoming? And which side tries really hard to drive you away if you disagree even a little with orthodoxy? Which side is asking for suggestions and which one is demanding compliance and obedience? So it seems like, and this leads up to something else like you posted if you want to bring it up more recently, but real right word turn for the young Turk who I don't think I would ever really
the youngest Turk in charge.
Yeah.
Well then he tweeted this. Just I don't actually know what the timeline is, but this was today around like afternoon time. And he says, I've been trying to figure out why I'm more optimistic now than I was before the election, even though I was so against the guy who won. I now know MAGA is not my mortal enemy, and neither is the extreme left, mind you, and this is in parentheses. He just wants to make sure I'm not against the extreme left or the extreme right. My mortal enemy is the establishment, and they have been defeated. He's doing fucking neo-reactionary. He's doing dark awakening. Like he is, and it's fucking crazy because it feels all the people that were saying that Anna Kasparian was doing a rightward pivot, and like, okay, maybe whatever. I don't know. I don't think so, but maybe she was. But it does feel like the idea is that Dank Wigger, he saw it happening again, and he was like, he's just given up at this point. He's like, fuck it. Everyone who works here, they just keep doing the same thing. Am I the dumb one for not just doing it too? And he's just they're gonna fucking turn the young Turks are gonna take a fucking right pivot. And I love that he's basically right here. You know what he's calling out? You know what he's doing? What I said maybe last week, maybe the week before, right here on this very podcast, he is trying to bring back MAGA communism. Because he's saying, my enemy is not MAGA and my enemy is not the extreme left. In fact, I think both of those are good. I think we should have MAGA communism. Cenk is stealing my idea of stealing MAGA communism from what's that fucking dolt's name? Jackson Hinkle.
Yes.
Yeah. Jank is like, he heard me saying that I was going to do it, or he saw me posted on Twitter where I said I was going to do it, and now he's like, fuck that, I'm doing it. I'm taking it back. I'm going to be the one. I'm going to be the face of MAGA communism. And you know what? I'm fucking sick and tired of this. And you know what's funny about, Jank teaming up with Elon from that first tweet, like you said, that he got this and that, is that in the past election, during the primaries, he was working on some fucking case that he was trying to get picked up by the Supreme Court that was like saying like on some technicality, actually based on like whatever the statute that you have to be a born in America, born citizen to be president is not like constitutional. So, if whatever fucking bullshit he was working on with that has any fucking credibility, and then you get the money of Elon Musk behind it, and you actually continue to like push that case, and you've got the support of the fucking president, and all of the network, like the Elon Musk is going to be president thing, like if you look at it in if you squint and you actually look at things, I can definitely see where you would believe it. But the funny part about it is that, like you said, the people who are saying that they're scared of, they have no fucking clue about any of that other shit that I was just talking about. They're just like going based off of weird vibes. But yeah, like Jank was during the last presidential primary, he was like, had some weird argument that he was trying to get picked up by the Supreme Court to basically turn over the idea that like you have to be a born citizen to be president. And had some like novel fucking argument, like legally or whatever.
Yeah, I completely forgot that he was trying to run for president.
He was trying to run, yeah.
Yeah, just normally I don't think about the Young Turks at all. But
right.
when I do,
They've become
boy,
like,
howdy, do I remember how much they suck.
Yeah, they definitely suck. But it's interesting that like they've been just kind of there and like almost like weird like normie lib, I guess. So I was going to say normie con, but it's like the other side, normie lib, right? It's like where they've been for like decades. But it's like it feels like the past couple of months they've like tried to become incredibly culturally developed. And it's probably because there's like so much shit going on in the Middle East, and they've got the like identitarian politics of being like, we're Middle Eastern, we know what we're talking about. That like that credibility leans itself to being like part of the conversation,
Yeah. Another weird thing about them, and man, I was not expecting us to talk about podcasts so long today, but it's fine. Is that he's Turkish, and they named themselves the Young Turks. Anna Kasparian is Armenian. And apparently, right. I don't know if it exists up till this point, but there was a period, I'm almost 100% sure, where Jank was either like a total genocide denialist or like apologist somehow. But they've like worked together the whole time, this whole like long time that they've had this fucking show. So yeah, I don't know how that works exactly, other than like, I guess he's signing her paychecks, but still she she makes being Armenian, I believe, like kind of like a strong part of her identity.
Oh yeah.
But I don't know, maybe that's old news, and maybe he finally like, I don't know, whatever. I mean, I don't know. Just like you just have to. There's no other word for it. It's just pure grifting. Like that show has been like teetering on the edge for a while, from what I understand, and in decline.
Sure.
So he's just scrambling to make it relevant by doing shit like doing a stunt by running for president, which like nobody cared about.
Right. Well, it's kind of crazy though to say that, because like they are like huge though. They have like tons of subscribers, and like
I don't know. I feel like I've seen a bunch of like analysis that shows that like at least comparatively they've been like on a downward slope for a long time. But
sure. They can be downward, but they're still like really big or whatever. But yeah, I get what you mean.
It's true.
You gotta keep moving, you gotta keep growing or whatever. Yeah, for sure. I was trying to think, it is funny because like the Chapo thing, when they like, I don't even know if I think they did move away from it, but they were like, when they first rolled out their Patreon thing, they like called their subscribers like the Grey Wolves.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But I do think that they've kind of like they really don't say that anymore. I don't think.
No, that's long dead. I'm pretty sure.
But I always kind of thought, because Jank was like when he first did the like, you know, Young Turks pack, like political, because like, oh, you can like do whatever money, and they like put the thing together. He called it the Wolf Pack.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I always thought that was a nod to the Grey Wolves. Because it's like a thing, and like you said, like the idea that like he calls it the Young Turks, he's been somewhat of like an apologist to the genocide, and the fact that he even did that, like it is like there is something to it where you're like, what is this guy's politics really? Because it's like it can be left in America, right? It can be left comparatively to America, but still be like right, like globally or whatever, especially in the context of like, you know, Turkish whatever. So it's just like it is kind of interesting to see that like. That he's like, yeah, I'm fine with coming to America and being like, we should do communism here, but historically I still support all of the insanely fucking like genocidal history of my culture.
I mean, he's definitely never been like a socialist, even in like even rhetorically, as far as I know. I mean, I could be wrong because I just don't listen. I don't fucking listen to the show. Sure. Like he was, I think a famous part of his backstory is that he was like deeply conservative before he, you know, saw the light of center left liberalism, which is, you know, whatever. Yeah. But he was like basically, right. He was basically like a fucking neocon for a long time is what I feel like I've heard him say somewhere. But, I guess,
oh, I see this one you have highlighted, 2000s culture war never died, and I would be interested to like get into this, and then also a little bit of a jumping off point into some other like this recent thing that I heard about that I found kind of interesting, about like Y2K shit. Maybe you'd be interested in that.
Yeah, I was gonna say that the highlight is actually more of a probably going to skip that highlight.
Okay.
But I just wanted to throw in this hilarious JD Vance Thanksgiving tweet, which was very, brutal. Very, little bit odd. It's like the famous Norman Rockwell painting, Thanksgiving painting, and he's put Trump's head on the patriarch of the family's body and his own head on said patriarch's wife's body. Sure, matriarch. I mean, this is like the 1940s or whatever, so, or 50s.
Sure.
I don't know if people were talking about matriarchs, but anyway, it's just obviously JD in a sort of subservient role to Trump, and he's holding the big old turkey, but instead of a turkey, there's the electoral map of the recent election,
which doesn't even make any. It doesn't make any fucking sense.
He's serving up some fucking election truths to the nation. I don't know.
Yeah, like as a politician, like that. It's why JD fucking sucks at this shit, and Trump is like so good at it, right? It's like the thing where Trump is like, we need to like band together and pay off Kamala's debt. Like that's like getting the idea. You won, and now you need to like do stuff. JD, what this post is like, like if they are the mom and the dad, and they're serving up to the kids that should be like America or whatever, it should be like they're serving you something good. But instead, it's like he's just like fucking gloating and showing like, look, we won. You know what I mean? It's just like, God, he's just such a fucking like waste of goddamn space. He's just such a goddamn, that's like loser energy. It's like, act like you fucking been there before. Like, if you every time you win, like, acting like that just makes it, like, very clear that, like, oh, you're not used to this. And that's why Trump is so good at it. It's like the moment that Trump wins, it's like, phenomenal. Okay, that's great. I won. Of course I was going to win. Everyone loves me. And then now it's like, oh, let's be gracious. We should do something good. We should do something nice. We should take care of others. Now that I've won and I'm the best and everyone loves me, of course, we all know that. But, let's help Kamala. Let's do something good for her. And let's help the working man. Let's make everything great for them. Like, understanding that now is not the time to fucking try to dig in. Like, you just look like a fucking loser. It's weird. Like, you can win and then look like a loser by the way that you react to winning. And that's what JD did there.
Yes. Yes, it's just extremely, I wish I could think of different words, but cucked energy.
Right. Right.
And then there was this video that went viral of this woman making a Thanksgiving Day dinner for under $20 by using all ingredients from the Dollar Tree. For non-American listeners, this is a very sad but massive chain of let's call them discount stores for the poor.
If you're in England, they actually call it Pound Town, like the Sexy Red song. They take you go down to Pound Town.
Into Pound Town, yeah.
That's legit. That's not like, it is a joke, but that is what they do have a chain of dollar stores in England that is called Pound Town.
No,
which is very funny to me. Yes, no, that's real.
Really?
Yes, they have Pound Town in England. And people talk about it like it's not the funniest fucking thing in the world. And I'm always, like, taken aback by the fact that, like, why do people just, like, gloss over this like it's not really fucking funny?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to find on Google so far because it's all just the song.
Right.
Oh, here we go. Pound Town store.
Pound Town, UK store. Our dollar stores in England called Pound Town. Why? And you could find multiple Pound Towns. Pound Town.
Wow. Yeah. That's...
yeah.
That makes me feel... I don't know if it makes me feel better about America or just worse for England or both. I don't know.
They have it coming.
But I watched the video and, like, I was sort of expecting like a really, like, I don't know. I was just expecting like a really awful person to be making this video, like, but she actually seemed like very sincerely like trying to help people out who don't have a lot of money. But the larger point is that it's sad that and this is something we see like constantly, like probably every week, if not more often. It's just like sometimes these things go viral, but people like celebrating people basically being like impoverished in a way. It's not as easy as that, but like what it made me think of right away was something I think I maybe even brought up on the podcast like a while back, but it was like a similar kind of viral story. It was like a little girl puts together a lemonade stand. Yeah. To help raise money for her brain tumor removal surgery. And like, I've never checked back in on that article because I just have the sinking feeling that like this little girl probably died. But I mean, I don't know. But like, like that's kind of like, I don't know. But there's so many stories like that. It's like, look how people are dealing with their poverty, isn't it? What heroes or whatever. But then it's just like, is this supposed to make like, I don't know, the rest of the non-totally impoverished populace just like feel kind of like warm and fuzzy about everything for a second? Or like, I don't know. It's just like a thing of like, it doesn't address the real problems, obviously, that like create poverty. Right. It's just like, hey, look how people are scraping by and they're still doing it with a smile on their face. And it's just like, that's bad though. Like, I mean, okay, it's good that people can like slightly persevere through like the rough times or whatever. It's like, then maybe go check back in on those people after their lemonade stand money runs out, after Thanksgiving has come and gone. And it's like, their lives are still fucking miserable.
Right. Well, yeah, I could only think of, like, as you're talking about us, like, cutting to the local news thing, and they're just like, they say an apple a day keeps the doctor away, but an apple-sized tumor has caused this young lady to open up her own apple cider stand to try to pay for her own for her medical treatment. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, Jesus Christ, like, and again, it's like, it's a mix, because, you know, they talk about, like, that the ruling elite, these, you know, the people on top, the motherfuckers who got the money, they like to have the homeless, and they like to have them even on display, because it lets the hoi polloi know that there's a surplus workforce that could easily be slotted into their spot at a moment's notice, and also to be like, at any moment, this can be you. When we decide that we're sick of you, we'll just throw you out on the street. Or if we get AI to replace you, you know, if you decide to protest or protesting your work. What do they call that when you protest your work? They call it going on strike. That's it. If you decide to go on strike, you're going to get replaced by AI, right? Like, that's what they say. But then it is also the other side of it with something like this, where it's like, but then is it also like trying to tell you, like, you know, don't worry, be happy, you know, that song? Where it's like, yeah, you know, when everything goes bad, all you'll have to do is fucking sell lemonade on the corner, and then we'll be able to treat your problem. But you have to remember that you have to be a cute, you know, 11-year-old white girl, you know, to be able to actually make this work, because otherwise you're fucked. So yeah, like, it is like, is it like, is it hope, or is it carrot, or is it stick, or is it both, you know? And also, try to fucking make the money to get your medical surgery by selling carrot juice. Nobody wants that shit, right? All right? And that's why we need RFK to make America healthy again. MAGA, right? We need to get people used to eating carrots again. Anyways, continue.
Yeah, I mean, Maha for sure. Once we eliminate the fluoride supply, that little girl's brain tumor will just shrivel up, I'm sure. But like I mean, I didn't like follow up on it really, but I strongly doubt that the little lemonade stand thing turned into her getting enough money to pay for fucking brain surgery out of pocket with no fucking health care or health insurance. So to me, like, those stories are just like, there's something really sick about them, like, because, like, obviously, like, in the ideal world, we would cover all these stories all the time, but instead of ending on a like, the triumph of the human spirit, isn't that nice? Back to you with the weather, Jim. Like, it would end with, like, you know, the way, like, the World Socialist website ends every article, which is like, and this is why we need to overthrow like the current economic system and blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't know, just like pointing out, like, why does no one see a problem with the fact that this little girl is having to do this? Like, it just doesn't get mentioned as a problem. And no one mentioned, similarly, this like Thanksgiving meal thing as like, I wonder what the deal is with this wider problem with poverty, where a fucking video of this lady making like a disgusting looking Thanksgiving dish out of Dollar General, Dollar Tree, whatever it is now. I think Dollar Tree bought Dollar General. And anyway, I ended up like reading this longer, like 6-year-old article about the ascendance of Dollar General. That was extremely depressing as well. But we don't really have time to get into that, at least today anyway. But it basically said that there were more Dollar Generals than McDonald's, which I found kind of interesting.
It's pretty good. The consolidation of Dollar General and the 99-cent store, and like the 99-cent store, some of the local ones around here are closing down and stuff. It does feel like, it feels bad, man. You know what I mean? Like, I get that. It did remind me of something else that had crossed my mind earlier that I wanted to bring up, and it's on the same thing. It's like, there's this company. It's like this, I don't know. It feels like private equity. It feels like, but it's really what it's just is consolidation. There's a company out here in Southern California that's called the Gonzales Northgate Market, which is it's great because the name is fucking stupid. It's just like, pick one. Like, don't do both. Just call it Northgate Market or call it Gonzales Market, but don't be like, we're Gonzales Northgate Market, right? Like, it's like, but they are buying up all of the, like, the thing that you wouldn't expect. I don't know how familiar people are to this concept, but it's like really normal out here in Southern California. Like the carniceria, the small Mexican market where it's like they have produce, they have meat, they have like pasteles, they have like shit like that.
Supermercados.
And then they have like, yeah, exactly. But like the little Latino ones, right? And this company is buying them up and just slapping their name on it and like changing a few things about it. But like, and it's just, again, it's just like the consolidation of everything where it's just like, you know, America is just 3 corporations on a trench coat. Like that, like it's crazy to see it at this level now. It's like, again, you know, I hate to say peak capitalism, but it feels that way where you're getting to the point where like the dollar store and fucking Dollar General can't exist as separate things. They have to get unified into one. And the fucking supermercado, as you said, the carniceria, the small little fucking the bodega-esque liquor store can't just be its own thing. It has to get consolidated into one thing. It's like, we are hitting they are really like scraping the bottom of the barrel to get that last hit. They are trying to like fucking squeeze every last little ounce of juice that they can find.
I wonder, it just crossed my mind. I was trying to think of like equivalent sort of level businesses. Like the first thing I thought of was pawn shops. Are there like nationwide pawn shop chains?
Oh shit, there probably is. I didn't even think about that. That's one that we need to look into.
That seems like even a step up of like you said, peak capitalism beyond like even like buying up supermercados somehow. Because there's something like there's the very like the concept of the pawn shop is like inherently sort of predatory and like sort of linked in with like the criminal black market or whatever.
Yes, and there's an element of like kind of spinning and wheeling and dealing that you can't have. You know what I mean? You can't have it like, or at least it feels like it can't be like corporatized and XYZ, because it's like, I bring in like a guitar and you have to like eyeball it and sell it to me and like, oh,
right.
How much money should I give this guy? Is this a drug addict or, you know, blah, 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 all that. Like you need but can you like corporatize that and turn it into like, I guess you could, right? It's just like, it's a risk assessment. It's just like insurance, you know?
Yeah, I think maybe this is just like a quick just now web search, but it looks like there's something called Easy Corp Inc.
Hell yes.
Pawn shop operator based in Austin, Texas, provides services across the United States and Latin America. Second largest pawn shop operator after Cash America International. So there are large corporate, umbrella companies that own numerous pawn shops, it looks like. Yeah, I mean it's like the same thing with those like fucking, what do you call them? God damn it, they're like the most like predatory, disgusting places.
Payday loans.
Payday loans, yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Oh.
Those and like the check cashing places, which I guess are slightly less terrible than the payday loan places. Actually, maybe a lot less terrible, but still bad. Yeah, weird. Maybe you have to further investigate the the seedy underbelly of the corporate pawn shop world. See what's really going on with that.
Right.
Because it seems like it would be hard to institute like nationwide, I don't know, standards and practices or whatever, corporate standards and practices with pawn shops. But I guess you could probably manage to do that with just about anything. Or it's, maybe it's just like all franchised out or whatever.
Yeah. No, I mean, just you problematize the risk. You create like a chart, a table. You can do like insurance claim adjustment, but for a pawn shop. But it just feels kind of crazy, you know?
Yeah, it's weird. I guess maybe just like as a sort of quick aside, just like a mention. I don't think there's really much to really like dig in on it, but what'd you think of that kick-ass Kamala Harris video that she dropped the other day? I don't think I even watched the whole thing. Apparently, it was about 10 minutes long. Yeah. I found a Daily Mail article where body language expert reveals the quote truth over quote flaccid Kamala Harris's rambling, bleary-eyed video message. But I think as I said elsewhere, everyone from Kevin Sorbo of Hercules and God's Not Dead fame to Billy Menaker. Yeah. All had something to say about that video, which was basically the consensus was this broad was fucking lit while she was giving her little speech.
Everyone, that's the thing, they say that we're all too divided, politically we're all too divided, but everyone can agree on Kamala,
On Kamala having 7 martini breakfasts, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know there's not really much to say about it other than that it was like bizarre that she even felt the need to release this video, and this was like the first thing she like said to the public essentially since like maybe a brief thing that she said after the election, and then she just went on like a fucking several weeks long vacation to Hawaii, which must be nice.
Right.
I saw something else the other day, too, that was like, the ideal thing for Kamala right now is to get her a job with some sort of entity, I believe was the exact language. Like, basically, it was saying, like, what she deserves, this queen, is to have, like, a fucking, like, make work, like, bullshit, like, consultant type job. It's like, why? She did really bad.
Yeah.
I'm still convinced she's just going to...
They're going to run her again in 4 years.
God, that would be so insane.
They're going to do it.
Well, I thought you said, what's his face was up next? Shrek.
Oh, John Fetterman would win, yeah. But I still think they're going to try to run her next time. But I think John Fetterman will win if he runs.
How about the Fetterman-Harris 2028 campaign?
Yeah. There it is. That's what we need.
Do you want to talk about your Thanksgiving? Celebrity sighting.
I do. Okay, so saw Ben Stiller, obviously.
Ben Stiller,
not Ben Stiller. Ben Affleck and Jennifer Garner. Jennifer Garner was really fucking putting it on, man. Like, I don't know. Maybe that's just legit, but also you get like the quote that from the People magazine article from Ben Stiller saying like, I know that it helps me, I don't know if it helps them thing, and you just kind of go like, they don't fucking care. Like, there's this dark energy vampire shit. Because like, the level with which that Jennifer Gardner, like, do you want cake? With a huge fucking crazy smile on her face. Like, what are you fucking doing? What is this? This is incredibly like over the top. But the biggest takeaway from Ben Affleck was like all of the shitty pictures that they post where they're like, look at how fucking miserable he is. He must be so hungover. Like, that's just what his face looks like, man. Like when he's just like, when he's just chilling and he's not like trying to smile or do anything, his face looks like that. He just looks like miserable. It's probably like part of what makes him like a decent actor, you know, because he's like obviously very dumb.
Resting
but, like,
sad boy face.
Yeah, the fact that like his resting face just looks like very put upon and sad helps like make his shit look more emotional. But when I had mentioned earlier about how my brain is all completely fucked, like with the Tom Hartman versus Phil Hartman, Lionel versus Lionel Hutz thing, like when we were there, Tom Morello was there. Like I saw him for a second.
Wow, celeb extravaganza. Wait, did you say where this was yet?
No, it doesn't matter. It was just like we were volunteering.
It kind of matters.
We were volunteering giving food at a place, you know, on Thanksgiving. That was it.
Okay, but yeah, I'm just saying, like, the location, you got to paint a picture here.
What is it? In Skid Row, right? Where it's in Skid Row in Los Angeles. They blocked off the street.
I just mean you weren't at a 5-star restaurant, like you were at a charity thing.
Yeah, and I saw Tom. This is where I say, like, the reason why it matters about the way my brain works is I saw Tom Morello, and instantly the first thing that crossed my mind was, oh hey, it's Tom Morello from the Ralph Nader Radio Hour. Because during Ralph Nader's radio show, they pretty much every week play the drop where Tom Morello goes, "This is Tom Morello, and you're listening to the Ralph Nader Radio Hour." And so instantly when I saw him, that was what I thought of was, oh yeah, I hear you every week doing the drop for the Ralph Nader Radio Hour. I didn't say it to him, but I wanted to. But like instantly, that was the first thing that crossed my mind.
Mr. Morello, will you sign my Ralph Nader Radio Hour poster?
Yeah. Yeah. Will you sign this for me, please? Like, I'm a Raider. I'm one of Nader's Raiders. I tweeted this, but I definitely 100% think it's true. People like to argue and say that Rage Against the Machine is not nu metal. But if you saw the Jenkos that his kids were wearing, you would be like, nope, that's nu metal. There is no question, buddy. It was insane. I was just like, because his kids are like, early teens, tweens. And like, the nu metal revival thing is kind of happening. And their dad is obviously like a big part of that scene or whatever. It was crazy that they were wearing fucking just gnarly ass Genko jeans. I was just like, these are like these kids are just fucking out of control. But yeah, that was, again, like I said, that was just about my brain being insane. Did we talk about the, as we're doing LA local stuff, did we talk about it last week? The fence that got put up around the bus stop?
No, we can get into that.
Is that even on here at this point now? I'm just like,
it is. It's beneath the AI section.
Okay. Yeah, because it was like, oh yeah, that was a good one to actually talk about.
It sort of actually reminded me of certain AI phenomenon, but I'll expand on that after we get into it. I mean, do you want to just like walk us through this one?
Oh, sure. This is LA Taco, which is a website that I actually like and support. It's written by my former neighbor. This guy used to live above me, Alexis Olivio Ray. Really cool dude out here in LA, and talks about a bunch of stupid bullshit, but it's like an absurd twist. I love the headline. Like, you can always tell the cheesiness of the headline that's written by the fucking by the editor. An absurd twist. The city of Los Angeles serves itself a notice to a violation after installing an anti-homelessness fence. So basically what happened is, you're in LA, in like a pretty, like, not a terrible part of downtown. It's not like in Skid Row, but it's like nearby in downtown LA. They did a sweep on the street next to an empty lot. This is the big part about it, is this is really close to City Hall and the police station. And this stretch has been like pretty much like encamped for at least 4 or 5 years at this point. There's been like, especially like since COVID happened, but even a little bit before that, there's always been like just the whole street is fucking blocked. And they did a sweep here, which like, I don't know. Do people know what that means when I say a sweep? Like,
they kicked out people like in an
they went through and people were in camps. And they go like, oh, we're cleaning. Basically what they tell them is like, we're not like, you're not like being forced to leave, but we have to clean the sidewalk, so you have to like get all of your stuff out of here while we clean. And then a lot of times what they end up doing is like, oh, well, if you don't get it out of here by this such and such time, then we just throw it in the trash. If you don't have anywhere to take it, this and that. So they just end up like tossing a bunch of it. Like legally, it's like a real weird gray area. That's why a lot of times they like will like encourage you to film everything that happens to just keep them in line so they follow the rules. But basically they sweep through. This is like I said, this is right next to the courthouse. It's right next to fucking City Hall. It's right next to the police station. They clean it all out. They put up a fence. The fence is blocking like one of the few real bus stops. Cause in Los Angeles, we have a lot of places where like a bus stop is just a sign. But then there's also places where like it's a nice bus stop with a bench and a fucking shade, thing, and a lot of times it has some kind of advertisement right next to it because that's what pays for it. And a trash can that's built into the ground, whatever. So they fenced in this bus stop so you can't even fucking wait for the bus here now. And so then the Metro had to come out and look and say, like, why do you have a fence blocking the bus stop? So one fucking city ordinance came out and did this bullshit ordinance. I don't even know what the right word is at this point. Like, whatever. Who cares? They come out and block it off. Then the other one has to come out and ticket them to say, take it down. And they just waste a bunch of money. It plays into, like, Lex here is, like, talking about, like, all of the, what they call, like, I was going to say aggressive architecture, where they put, like, rocks and planters and things and fences in the way so that people can't fucking get into spaces to set up shop or set up their house and look for a place to live. And again, it just, like, comes down to, like, what do you fucking expect? Where are they going to go? If they're not here, where are they going to be? Like, they don't have anywhere else to go. You have to fucking actually make a place for them. But
I just had a dystopian vision, of, like, what we were talking about with, like, the lemonade stand to treat brain cancer and all that, etc. Like, is the next step going to be, like, feel-good videos where they're like, look at this brilliant house built out of cardboard and tarps, like,
right?
Isn't this heartwarming, everybody?
Right. Yeah, no, I mean, the tiny homes, like, that was like the tiny homes thing. It was the same thing. It's like, it's fucking propaganda to be like, isn't this good? Isn't it nice to live inside of a fucking shoebox? You love it.
I mean, even that would be nice if it actually, like, solved anything, but it doesn't. But
right.
Yeah.
Right. But I mean, it starts out with the influencers, and anyways, that's not the point of this. The point of this is, like I said, like, it's really fucking disgusting because this is money that was part of the Safe Inside program, which started during COVID, and the idea was to get people off of the streets into their own homes so that they wouldn't spread COVID, and now you're using that money to fucking put fences and planters and things in the way so that people can't live. But you're not providing them houses, which was the whole fucking point. The point was to provide these people somewhere to live. But instead, you're like, oh, we're using it to create, like, spaces where people can't be. You're making spot. I really love this one spot where it's like this fucking piece of shit Kevin DeLeon, which, like, whatever, like, he called this fucking certain part of, like, the neighborhood Fentanyl Corner. It's fucking amazing. Oh, great. It's like, it's just a normal, it's not even like a bad part of the fucking city. But that's the shit that drives me crazy. It's just like a normal fucking corner that maybe, like, people have camps on, but there's really very little activity that happens there. There's no crime. That's the other part of it that people, like, get all mixed up with. It's like, to me, like, homeless people on the street using drugs is not a crime. Like, it's not fucking gangs. It's not violence. You know what I mean? It's not theft. It's not robbery. But people see that and then they say, oh, that's Fentanyl Corner. That's where the bad stuff is happening. It's like, no, like, you go deal with, like, fucking real problems, man. Like, and also just, like, help fucking these people. Don't, like, villainize and demonize them. Anyways, yeah. So this is, it's pretty cool because basically California, Los Angeles, especially because they're getting so excited for the Olympics now. They're, like, turning it up. I talked about it before, but they're using, like, bike events and this kind of shit to be, like, excuses to fucking raid areas or sweep areas that they don't normally get to sweep. They're using shit like that to do that. And then they're doing this where they're, like, setting up a fence that they put up. They're wasting fucking tax money that should be going to helping find these people's homes to put up fences to block the street. And then having the fucking Metro come out and be like, oh, now you have to waste more money to take this shit down because you're blocking the fucking bus stop. And I just love to basically take it on both ends here when it comes to this kind of shit. But yeah, that's this article. Shout out to Lex, shout out to LA Taco.
Yeah, I think the little, like, subheader of this article smells it out pretty well, summarizes it. it says, the city now finds itself in an embarrassing situation where one city department is using taxpayer dollars to erect a fence that limits people's access to public space, while another city department uses up even more city resources to have that same fence taken down. For some reason, that sort of reminded me of like weird AI shit, maybe just because I had all these AI articles right in front of me at the same time I was looking at this, but it sort of reminded me of the like the videos of, what was it, like Siri and Alexis like talking to each other on like an infinite loop.
Oh yeah.
So it's just like, I don't know, something so similar about like these two pieces of the same sort of like overarching program, like talking to / past each other in like in a self-defeating way.
Right.
One of these photos here of, I forget where this is. I mean, it says here, fence at 3rd and Main Streets in downtown LA.
That's Fentanyl Corner.
That's Fentanyl Corner. Okay. So what Fentanyl Corner looks like is like they have these big, huge, like planters, but that have like either dead shriveled up
dying
plants.
Yeah.
Or just trash on top of like the soil in them, in front of like a huge fence around like what could otherwise be like a nice public park if they had the will to just make one.
Right.
And it's like, how is this any less of an eyesore? And I guess it is for some people, because it's like, oh, well, I don't have to face the idea that like there are these people, like that homeless people exist, basically. But it's still like, it looks like almost like a fucking third world country. Like, it's ridiculous. But yeah, I mean,
no, but it's militarism or barbarism, right? It's like, what do you prefer? And it's like, this looks like brutalism, like cold steel and concrete. Okay, that's for some reason that's acceptable because it looks like order. Even though, like you said, it's covered in fucking trash.
Yeah, it looks...
There's tons of fucking... Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it looks almost... I mean, it's hyperbole, but it's like almost like a war zone.
Sure, yeah.
And yeah, it also mentions somewhere here
looks...
that how, like, Skid Row is also just covered in blocks and blocks of the same type of chain link fence, just blocking all public, sidewalks. Yeah, it's a weird thing. Let's see. Maybe one more here.
This is my city. I love fucking LA, man. But it's just the government gets in the goddamn way, basically. Like, the city rocks, but the fucking, I'm not one of these like libertarian assholes, but you know what I mean? Like, there's no such thing as halfway crooks, right? I'd rather the government actually fucking do something instead of pretending like they're doing something, but they're not actually fixing any fucking problems.
Yeah, they're just displacing these people and they're going somewhere else. Like,
right.
Like you said, the most maybe perverse thing about all of it is that they're using funds that were meant to actually get people out of the state of unhousedness.
Right.
To just push them to another city block, basically.
Right.
And, maybe to trash all their worldly possessions beforehand as well. Should we end on one of these miscellaneous
on a happy note?
Bits?
Sure.
There's the gay pizza box. That's a pretty good one. So some guy, he is. I checked out his Twitter account after I saw it. You'd posted this, but he is like a blue check Israeli guy, total proud Zionist. He posted a picture of a Domino's rainbow flag pizza box with Hebrew script on it.
Hell yeah!
And wrote, "Ordered Domino's pizza in Israel. Just got this. Well, anyway, it sort of looks like it's even like sort of more staged than otherwise. It looks like, anyway, it looks like an unused like pizza box, whatever.
Right.
I love this country. Happy Pride. P.S. Apartheid, ethnic cleansing, inequality, my ass. BDS and Hamas, you don't get a slice. Hashtag Israel rocks. And of course, I had to see more of what the fuck. Well, because I just thought it was like a joke. I thought it was like a, like an anti-Zionist like parody type thing, because it's so stupid.
Yeah. Did you see shout out in the Discord, Hazy, friend of the podcast, posted the screen cap of like the Google Lens translate of the Hebrew letters on the box?
Oh, is that what that was?
I'll just tell you quickly. Yeah, it says.
Yeah.
The box says came, lift, ! We, which I don't know what the fuck is going on there. Domino's wishes everyone a happy Pride Month. So it probably just means like, uplift everyone or whatever. But yeah, that was pretty good. Domino's wishes everyone a happy Pride Month here.
Came, lift, we.
Yeah, and came, lift, we. Anyways. You were digging into the freak.
Yeah. Well, now I'm wondering. He's responding to an account called the Mossad, satirical and awesome. Oh. But I think it's not satirical in the sense that it's making fun of Mossad. It's like a pro Mossad account that does like pro Mossad satire on other things.
Okay.
Because this guy seems pretty serious about his Judaism. If he's not, he's doing some high level trolling, but I don't think he is from what I can tell. Anyway, the one thing I like even clicked on was like this 6-minute long video, which I could maybe stomach like a minute of, which he was doing like spoken word slam poetry style shit about.
Hell yes.
I'm that always writing Jew, that footnote citing Jew, that academic Jew, scholar Jew, that thinking Jew, and let me tell you something Jew. Worker Jew, white collar Jew, that tend the flock and herder Jew, that calloused foot and hand Jew, that roam the barren sands Jew, that tills and works the land Jew, that old Jew, new Jew, that makes the desert grow Jew, that always trying to make things just a little better Jew. At the same time, don't mind if I'm a self-centered Jew. I'm that persistent, sweated out Jew, that I made it big because I earned it Jew, that give me what I want because I know that I deserve it Jew. That arrogant Jew, that humble Jew, that whatever Jew I'm in the mood to be Jew.
About like rhyming every from what I remember, every line just like ended with the word Jew and rhymed with Jew.
Oh no.
In a positive way. He's like, I am that Jew. Old Jew, fun Jew, rapping Jew. It's just like, yeah. And then, yeah, I'm just like scrolling through the comments now, and some people are like very earnestly, God, I teared up, comma, Jew. Thank you, Jew, from another Argentinian Jew. Beautifully done, sir. May Hashem bless you, Israel, and Jews around the world, and now and always. Shalom, brother. Anyway, I don't know how to pronounce his name. These Israeli names are hard to pronounce.
Yeah.
But then, here's a funny story we can end on. Better than the Pride pizza box. Our friends of the sea, the orcas, the based communists of the sea. I don't know if people remember these stories popping up over the last several years. I think I brought up stories about them attacking people's yachts way back when.
Yeah.
Do you remember that shit? It was like going around at one point.
Yeah.
But here's a weird trend that I had to click on. Orcas start wearing dead salmon hats again after ditching the trend for 37 years. Orcas off the coast of Washington State are balancing dead fish on their heads like it's the 1980s, but researchers still aren't sure why they do it. And this is like on a legitimate sort of like science news aggregation site, Live Science, but they're trying to be kind of funny throughout this article, like keep referring to like the trend and how the trend spread, which it did. It is a weird thing, though.
It's the style of the time.
Yeah. But they're like...
Orcas are tying onions to their belt.
Exactly. They were trying to theorize on why they could possibly be doing this, and like I think the only thing close to a good guess was like when there's like an overabundance of food, they're like basically they're using their head as like a refrigerator to like save the salmon for later. But they were saying something like, well, now as opposed to the 80s, like we have all this like drone technology, so we're gonna start like keeping an eye on these orcas 24/7, and we can see if our hypothesis pans out or not. Like if they just toss the fucking dead fish off their head and don't eat it, then it's like back to the drawing board, you know? Like why the fuck are they doing this? Right. But apparently they've also been seen like keeping their prey after it's been killed under their pectoral fins. They're smart animals, and they're also fashion forward.
Yes, of course.
So yeah, just wanted to shout out our comrades of the ocean, the orca. The way they describe like this happening in the 80s is just kind of funny too. It's like they have like the ground zero for it, like the first, or at least, you know, the first time they saw this happen, but then they saw it actually like spread within the pod, this one orca's pod. They all started doing it for a time being, but then it was like kind of abandoned in the way that fly-by-night trends are in the human realm.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
We need more funny animal stories on this podcast, I think.
Yes. Funny animal stories like wearing dead salmon as a hat.
One of these days, we're going to get around to this fucking article about the robot vacuum hurling racial slurs at its owner. Just feel like that one's been sitting here forever. But it's a teaser for the future.
That's what we call an evergreen. You know, there's always going to be racial slurs, folks. Get in the racial slur business now. Invest, because it's not going anywhere.
All right, then. I guess general recommendations. I've got one. A TV show called Killing It, starring one Craig Robinson. He's always pretty good. I think this is maybe from the same... It has the same sort of vibe as like, I don't know, it's like NBC sitcoms like Brooklyn Nine-Nine or whatever. I think it's literally by the same showrunner. But it's on streaming service, so they're allowed to do more violence and talk about sex and use bad words. But it's actually pretty good, and you could even say that it's a fairly anti-capitalist to some degree TV show, just kind of about the struggles of, like, I don't know, working gig jobs and things like that, and just always trying to, like, I don't know, strike it rich at all costs, but from the perspective of poor working class people. But mostly it's just really funny. Claudia O'Doherty, do you know her? I like her a lot. Australian actress, but she's been on she used to go on like Comedy Bang Bang a lot. She's like, I don't know, she has a lot of crossover into like the LA podcast scene and stuff, but she's maybe like the co-star to Craig Robinson. Tim Heidecker has a really hilarious role in the show. It's more of like a secondary role, but he plays just like this. He's pretty good at playing a complete asshole, which this character is. He's like a kind of like motivational speaker, like pyramid scheme guy. It's basically like the kind of show where it's just like the protagonists are constantly just getting fucked over at every turn to like a comical degree. But yeah, it's pretty good. There's 2 seasons of it. A lot of good sort of side players. You got your doughboys Mike Mitchell in there as like a skeezy attorney, and so on and so forth. But yeah, killing it is it's funny that I say it's like this is like a change of pace, like a light show, but like pretty much everything that happens with the show is like kind of dark. But obviously it's like a comedy, so it's like played for laughs. But anyway, you got anything?
Oh yeah, I've seen this actress in something before. Claudia O'Doherty or whatever.
She was on she was on that Netflix show, the Netflix show Love. If you ever watched that, which also is just
yes, I did watch that. We talked about that a little bit.
Yeah, it's another like every like LA podcast type person is like on that show as well. Right.
I had that guy that I Paul Rust, who I decided was Andy Dick's son. I think he is actually.
I love Paul Rust. He's new no-nos. He would probably find that joke pretty funny, or not.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I guess the only thing I already said it, or I said it before. Maybe it was before we started recording. The only thing I've like been watching is The Wire. I could just recommend The Wire. People
Continuation.
Should check that out. It's pretty good. Yeah. What they should check out is they should check out my my thread on X, the Everything app, talking about The Wire.
I'll link to that.
Yeah. Yeah. As I continue to get through it.
You passed season 1?
No. Just finishing up season 1. I'm interested because season 1 feels like it's ending up with like they're shutting down The Wire. So I'm like, okay, what are they gonna do for season 2? Because it seems like they're not gonna have The Wire anymore. So yeah, I've already predicted. Like I felt like they're trying to make you like D, so they're probably gonna kill him off pretty soon. I might be wrong. We'll see. So yeah, but yeah, I did the same thing when we rewatched Girls. I did a thread on that, so if you want to go check that out too, you can find it somewhere on the internet. It's somewhere. It's on there. And but check out my thread talking about The Wire and watch The Wire yourself. Watch along with me. You can get caught up. You people watch TV more than I do. I'm really slow at watching TV. Anyways, should I plug the other stuff? Should I say go to violentpeople.co? Go to check out QNTR podcast on Transistor. I don't even know how to link to it. You can find it. You can find everything on my Twitter, on my X account, which is ROH Dutch.
And you can find more things about this show in the episode description, and go to the Discord link and join up on the Discord. Drop in, say hi, say some things, weigh in on.
Say whatever you want. We don't care. You can say anything. You can say all of the slurs. You're allowed. We don't mind. We're not going to get mad at you. You can say, you know how on TikTok and other websites, people love to talk about this recently. It's the new thing. They don't like when you have to say you unalive whatever. I want to unalive this person or whatever. In our Discord, you can say all that stuff.
Yeah, just the whole post, just say suicide, 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 kill yourself.
Yeah.
You don't have to say G-side, which is the newest one I heard the other day.
Yeah, you don't have to say KYS. Yeah. You don't have to say your Kickstarter sucks when you really mean you want someone to kill themselves, you know?
What else was I going to say? Oh, yeah. Ratings, reviews, subscriptions are nice as well. I guess preferably on, what is it? Apple Podcasts, iTunes, whatever. That one. Yeah, that's it. And as Kamala Harris always says, every evening just before the medicinal Chardonnay fully kicks in, the coconut's all that came before and all that will ever be. We must try to attempt to strive for a greater and larger and bigger process in our journey along the road of our travels. We've got the most lethal army in the world. The end of the day is also the time when the sun sets, when we eat dinner, when we do not eat breakfast, when we go to bed. This is a vast truth we must struggle with in our communities. We must center this central question into the centerpiece of our kitchen table issues so our nation can thrive. I listened to Tupac in the early 80s. There's a saying in Hawaii, aloha. They say it both as a greeting and a farewell. Think about that. Ponder this in those quiet moments during commercial breaks, in homes, with your families. Discuss it in your communities. Center it. Aloha. God bless America. And aloha again.
We got a theory.
All right, good night.
We
Good
got a theory
morning,
about
Vietnam.
magic and miracles. That's right. That's right. If magic is all we've ever known, then it's easy to miss what really goes on. But I've seen miracles in every way, and I see miracles every day. Oceans spanning beyond my sight, and a million stars way above them at night. You don't have to be high to look in the sky and know that's a miracle open wide. Look at the mountains, trees, the seven seas, and everything chilling underwater, please. Hot lava, snow, rain and fog, long-necked giraffes and pet cats and dogs. And I've seen 85,000 people all in one room together as equal. Pure magic is the birth of my kids. I've seen shit that'll shock your eyelids. The sun and the moon and even Mars. The Milky Way of fucking shooting stars. UFOs, a river flows. Plant a little seed and nature grows. Niagara Falls and the pyramids. Everything you believed in as kids. Fucking rainbows. After it rains, there's enough miracles here to blow your brains. I fed a fish to a pelican at Frisco Bay. It tried to eat my cell phone. He ran away. And music is magic, pure and clean. You can feel it and hear it, but it can't be seen. It can't be seen. Music is all magic. You can't even hold it.
Do you notice and recognize miracles?
It's just there in the air.
Are you a believer in miracles?
Pure motherfucking magic, right? This shit'll blow your motherfucking mind. Music is a lot like love. It's all a feeling, and it fills the room from the floor to the ceiling. I see miracles all around me. Stop and look around, it's all astounding. Water, fire, air, and dirt. Fucking magnets, how do they work? And I don't wanna talk to a scientist. Y'all motherfuckers lying and getting me pissed. Solar eclipse and vicious weather. 15,000 juggalos together. And I love my mom for giving me this time on this planet. Take nothing for granted. I seen a caterpillar turn into a butterfly. Miracles ain't nothing to lie. Shaggy's little boys look just like Shaggy, and my little boy looks just like Daddy. Miracles each and everywhere you look, and nobody has to stay where they put. This world is yours for you to explore. It's nothing but miracles beyond your doors. The Dark Carnival is your invitation to witness that without explanation. Take a look at this fine creation and enjoy it better with appreciation. Crows, ghosts, the midnight coast, the wonders of the world, mysteries the most. Just open your mind and it ain't no way to ignore the miracles of every day. And that's real, and that's real. Magic everywhere in this bitch.
Do you notice and recognize miracles?
It's all around you, you don't even know it.
Are you a believer in
Shit's
miracles? Do you notice and recognize miracles? So many miracles, the magic miracles.
The first voice recording was made in 1860. It was a 10-second fragment of the French folk song Au clair de la lune recorded by inventor Edward Leon Scott de Martinville. But who will make the final voice recording and when? What will it be? Who will hear it?